distribute them.
But how is
Sometimes
that
they
not
take a cut for
illegal,
themselves, even though that's illegal.
How
Sometimes
is
they
this
use
not-
tips to cover their operating costs or to pay for broken dishes or shortages in the register, which is all
Yo, not gonna lie, bro. We back. We got another vid type shit. For today, we got original Potter Gyms. I think, I don't know. But tipping culture sucks, bro. I literally recently had a tipping encounter incident, bro. Cause tell me why I ordered like a new web camera off online, bro. And they're trying to make me tip for ordering online, bro. I'm like, you didn't do anything, bro. I did the online shopping myself. Why am I tipping, bro? That makes no sense. But yeah, we're gonna check out this vid, bro. I hate this tipping culture BS, bro. Make sure y'all check out the original dude. After this vid, I'll leave his channel and vid down below type shit. Check out my TikTok, bro. I post different types of content over there. But other than that, let's go.
Be careful of this they're trying to play now. They are now covering up their no tip option on their credit card readers, ultimately forcing you to leave them a tip. The number one rule that I have, and that everybody else should have too, is that if I'm standing, I am not tipping.
when you walk into any coffee shop, any fast food restaurant, or any service desk in the United States, you'll
Like,
see
what
the
am I
same
tipping
thing.
a fast food worker for, though? Like, no disrespect, but like, what am I going to McDonald's and tipping
Screen
for,
will
bro?
flip to you with 3 different numbers. All of them are with high percentage signs that you'd normally consider unreasonable. And there's someone standing right there watching you decide whether you're going to be the asshole who presses the no tip button or just caves and pays whatever number they're asking for. The entire system of the iPad and the tips make you feel like you're the problem. Like if you don't tip enough, you're the reason someone's
But
struggling.
I'd gladly be hitting no tip, but I don't give a fuck, bro. Cause like, nigga, I'm already broke, bro. I'm not giving my hard-earned money to you, bro. Like, just get your greedy
If it
ass,
is
bro.
the
And like, let's be for real, bro. Like these cashiers, they be flipping the iPad, bro. Where do these tips even go, bro? Like, yo, those tips are not going to those people,
requires
bro.
customers to fund their basic compensation, and it's actually working. They've convinced us that this is normal, that this is just how tipping works, but none of this is about gratitude for showing genuinely good quality service.
Okay, can I get you anything else
Bro,
today?
the only people I'll tip is like the barber and like waiters and shit at like the restaurants. But I'm not going to a fast food place to tipping a worker or Starbucks and tipping, bro. Like
Hey, so
it
your
makes
total
no.
is
Or and
12.67,
DoorDash,
and
dude.
just
That
know for
makes
this
sense.
next part, it's totally optional. Like I said, it's totally optional.
Like most young people,
Bro, I went to
I've
bro. I swear, bro. I went to Dave and Buster's one time too, like a year ago, bro. And we went to pay, bro. And it was like a forced tip, bro. Like there was nothing we could do to click no, cause like they automatically added the tip on, bro. I swear to God, like they added like a 15-20% tip onto the bill, bro. I swear, but I'm like. And there was nothing they could say to click no, but generally that's gotta be illegal. But there's no way you can force someone to tip like
a
that.
service job during my first couple years of college, and I've been on both sides of this. The people who are programming those tip screens, setting those default percentages, and pocketing the difference while
Not
the workers
deadass,
don't
bro. You
even
had a
see the full
self-checkout
amount are
too,
the
bro.
ones who are really at fault. Companies have figured out that if they can make you look bad enough, you'll pay the extra money without even thinking twice. The stereotypical iPad flip is the perfect example. You order something, you pay, and then the screen turns around. The lowest option is 20%, where it used to be the highest option a few years ago, and the worker who just helped you is standing there 2 feet away from you, looking you in the face and waiting. This is pure psychological manipulation. In those moments, you're not thinking about whether that service warranted a tip.
Like if I'm ordering off an iPad, bro, or like why would I tip you if you're not doing anything for me, bro? Like if you're not enhancing something and making it easier for me, why would I tip you? You feel me? Like you're not bringing me the food. You're not walking to my table, taking my. I'm walking up to you. You should deadass be tipping me, bro. I'm walking up to you and giving you work, bro. Like
thinking about whether that person is going to remember you as cheap. You might even be thinking about the people behind you in line who are watching and judging. This is the guilt tax. This last weekend, I went to one of those food trucks that sells
these people
treats
can guilt
like
me and
chocolate
think, oh, they bad all
strawberries.
they
You know,
want.
there's
I'm
no
not
seating,
tipping,
there's
bitch.
no service tables. You just walk up to a window and then someone hands you whatever you buy. Me and my friends each got a cup of this like strawberry Dubai chocolate thing, and I'm not even joking when I say the total for this was over $20. And as absurd as that price is, of course, someone turns around and asks for a tip on the screen. We're here standing in a massive line for 30 minutes. No one checks up on you. No one gets you any water. These people literally just took a cup, filled it up with strawberries, added some pistachios and chocolate to it, and then handed it through the window, and we're being asked to pay extra for
Like,
that. Of
what?
course, I hit that no tip button as fast as I
Bro,
possibly
what are we
could.
doing?
But the worst part is, for
You're
most
not
people who
even
don't
giving them a restaurant to sit down, and you're a food truck. I don't get this shit, bro. Like this shit's gotta be
Tip,
gotta
they
be
feel like an
illegal, bro.
asshole. It's
this
not
has
the
gotta
company
be
paying
that's like a firefighter. That's like a firefighter saving your daughter from a burning building and stuff like that, bro. And them asking you for a tip after, bro.
Garbage
Like, what are we
wages,
doing?
not the CEO pulling in 8 figures while their workers scramble for tips. You, the customer who already paid $20 for something that probably cost $2 to $5 to make. And that's how they've reframed this entire issue, where it's made about generosity instead of their own greed. And they've done it so effectively that most people don't even question it anymore. But the thing that most people don't realize is that you're tipping because you've been conditioned to believe that not tipping makes you a bad person. And that is absolutely insane. And now they're even asking for tips before you even get the service. You haven't even tasted the food yet. You haven't seen if the order is correct. You didn't experience any level of service whatsoever, but they want that tip up front because they know something you might not have figured out yet. Once you tip at the beginning, you can't even take it back. Even if the service is terrible, even if the food is absolutely garbage and they forgot half of your order, that tip is locked in and you can't change it. It's almost like they're deliberately holding you hostage and making you pay that tip beforehand so you don't get fucked over. It's like if you don't tip up front, you know that your order is probably gonna go to the bottom of the pile. Your delivery driver won't pick it up.
I be feeling bad sometimes because like only times I want to tip, bro, is like when I'm like using DoorDash or like I said, my barbershop. But like whenever I want to tip when I'm using DoorDash, bro, I'm using DoorDash. Like I'm only using DoorDash if I had like a gift card or something like that. So I already don't have any money. So like I feel bad because I can only tip like $3, and like that's like the one time I would want to tip more, you know. But I genuinely can't because I'm only using the site because I have a gift card for the site, man. Like
cold because the entire system has trained the workers to prioritize the people who tip high and ignore the people who don't tip and kick them to the back of the line. So now you're no longer tipping for good service after the service has been completed. You're tipping beforehand now for the chance at basic service. The most insane thing about this is that servers in America only make $2.13 an hour in base pay. I'm not kidding. It's $2.
Well, the owners, bro.
The justification for this is that the tips will make up the difference. Employers are supposed to ensure that workers reach minimum wage, and if tips don't cover that, the employer has to pay more. That is the actual law. When you're making $2 an hour, you have no leverage. If you complain about tips, if you push back on wage theft, if you ask questions about how these tips are distributed, they just fire you.
That's gotta be illegal,
the entire
bro.
cycle is repeated.
There's no way they could legally pay you $2 just rely on other people to give you money, bro. Why doesn't the greedy ass owner give me the fucking money so these people don't gotta pay me extra money, bro? Like the owner of these restaurants are probably making hella money, bro. Like these
barely
dudes,
scraping
bro.
by, just keep their mouth shut and hope that the customers will be able to pay for their wage to stay alive. This is completely intentional as the business model. Keep their pay as low as legally possible and shift the compensation onto customers. And if the workers don't make enough, blame the customers for being cheap instead of the employers who are an absolute piece of shit. My best friend growing up has worked as a server in restaurants for pretty much his entire life while he's getting his degree, and he's told me some insanely unethical things that have happened in the restaurant industry behind the scenes. The restaurant has had to tip out the busters and runners based on their total sales, so if someone stifles him, he doesn't get anything. So there was times he was paying out of pocket to serve them, and sometimes even subsidizing his own meal with his own money, and the managers didn't give a shit the entire time because they're getting paid regardless. This is really who you're tipping at the end of the day.
These the same managers too, bro. These the same managers that are paying you 2 cents an hour, bro. These are the same ones that are gonna be on your ass about everything and always be the biggest dickheads, bro, and be like, yeah, I need this clean, I need you to mop up over here, I need you to pick this up, I need you to do this, or like, and you need to show up on time every day. Like, these are the same asshole managers, bro.
Call it opportunity to make more money. And now in some states, they've raised the base wage. Servers are making $15, $16 an hour before tips. And that all sounds great, especially because workers are getting paid. But even after the increased raises, the tipping didn't go away. Customers are still expected to add 20% on top. So now workers are making full wages, prices have gone up to cover those wages, and customers are paying twice the amount. You're paying once through the higher menu prices and then once again through tips. And where is all that extra money going? Not the workers, it's the profit margins of corporations who raised the prices, kept tipping in place, and then they pocket the difference. And they do all this so smoothly so people don't even notice. The entire reason for these $2 wages in servers is because these corporations have been lobbying for decades to keep it that way. They funded campaigns, backed these politicians, spread propaganda about how raising wages would destroy small businesses.
Bro, why the owners and shit are fucking billionaires and millionaires. millionaires
in
and shit,
every
bro.
other country in the world don't have tipping, and they still exist. They're still profitable, the workers get paid, and customers know what they're going to spend before they sit down at the table. This actually works, and the only difference is that in those countries, businesses have to actually pay their employees instead of outsourcing that responsibility to the public. The tipping culture is out of control because it used to mean something a few years ago. It was specifically for sit-down restaurants, for bartenders, for people who actually provided a personal service over time. There was logic to this, and it actually made sense. We could understand when a tip was appropriate and when it wasn't.
Now it's like, bro, you're damn near forced to tip at this point, bro. I don't do it. I don't know about y'all. I don't give a fuck what niggas think. I mean, you can call me broke. You can think I'm cheap all you want. Shit, I don't give a fuck. But yo, I'm only tipping at restaurants and my barber, like I said, bro. And like if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm not even tipping that much to be honest. I'm tipping the cash I got in my pocket, which is like $8, bro. So like, I'm sorry, I don't got it like that sometimes, bro. But like even if I did, like it's not my job to pay the employees the money that they're not earning. You feel me? Like, I came here to eat my food and leave. I didn't come here to pay your fucking salary, bro. Like, that's not my problem. No disrespect at the end of the day, but that's just not on me, you feel me?
Asked to tip when you buy a pre-packaged sandwich from a cooler or when you check out at a self-service kiosk. We're even asked to tip when you pick up an online order that someone just put in a bag and set on the counter.
No sense.
People don't realize how absolutely...
I ordered, like I told you that I ordered a camera, bro, and it brought up a prompt. It tried to get me to tip like 20%. I got pissed off. I was really gonna make a video about it. I'm like, it's an online order. What the fuck, yo?
Insane and greedy that is. A few years ago, I was in the mountains of Colorado for New Year's. I was on a date where we were gonna take
if you tip it online too, what the fuck is that money going to? Because it's not going to the people who got your package and put it in the box. You don't know where that money's going. That money's going to the fucking company, bro. That's not going to any. That's not going to any employee.
Awesome experience. It was in one of those mountain resort towns, so it was obviously going to be a little bit more expensive. And when we got there, all the horses are there, and then we go inside to pay, and the actual cost ended up being $200. And there was a tip prompt right whenever I paid for the service before it was even complete. And the lowest option was literally $50. And we actually did end up tipping. The experience was great, but imagine if it wasn't. There's no way to ask for a refund because you've already paid before the service was provided. And it's not just on sleigh rides in the mountains, you can see it literally everywhere now. Bowling alleys are asking for tips, movie theaters, grocery pickup.
What the hell am I tipping in a bowling alley and movie theater for? What? They're not providing me service with any. They're grabbing shoes. That's not anything. I could do that, bruh. They're not even. They're grabbing shoes. I'm doing all the service myself by grabbing the bowling balls and bowling them. They're not bowling for me, bruh. They're not teaching me proper form how to bowl. They're just standing behind the counter giving me shoes. What the hell?
I've heard of people being asked to tip at airport kiosks where there's literally no human interaction at all. Just a machine, a transaction, and a screen asking you to pay more money. This is now being coined as tip creep. And this is just a calculated
I'll go to get boba or something, bro, and then they'll ask me to tip at the machines like that, bro. I'm like, why?
Who have realized that they could ask for tips in places that never belonged, and most people would just pay because that's how we were trained. We've been socially conditioned to every single time that you see a tip prompt, you're just gonna pay it and not question it and think everyone else is going to be doing the same. Nobody voted on whether tipping should expand into fast food or retail or literally every single random transaction that we make. The reason it happened is because business saw an opportunity to increase their revenue without actually providing more value, and they took it. The companies selling these payment systems, Square, Toast, Clover, they're the ones who are pushing this. The reason is because they take a percentage of every single time that a payment is processed through their devices. And this includes tips. So the more tips that you leave, the more money they'll make, and that has a direct financial incentive to put tip prompts on every screen in every business at every opportunity, and they keep doing it because people are dumb enough to play into it. The sad part is workers aren't even seeing most of the money. There have been countless stories of tips just disappearing out of thin air. We see businesses pulling tips and taking a cut, and these payment processes.
I mean, it's probably common sense, but I'm gonna still say I'm a genius because I said it.
And a lot of these service businesses, apart from restaurants and bartenders, there's really no incentive for the workers to even them put in the extra quality to get a tip because they're not really making anything off of it in the first place. When your income depends on customer generosity, you can't afford to be human. They have to perform and smile when they're exhausted, laugh at bad jokes, tolerate rudeness, and just pretend like everything is great when it's not. Because in the case of most of these service workers, if they slip up for even a moment, their tip disappears, and with that, their ability to pay rent also goes down the drain. This is the power dynamic that tipping has created. Customers hold all the leverage, and workers are just servants now, no longer employees and real people. Tipping has put workers in a position where they now have to absorb abuse, where they have to degrade themselves, where they have to put on a performance just to earn what should be a guaranteed wage. And this works great for corporations because now they don't have to deal with unhappy customers as often. The workers are the ones who take the hit and then have to move on to the next customer. And since the iPad method has become so profitable and popular here in the United States, tipping culture is spreading into Europe, into Asia, and other places where it never existed before. The reason why is because American payment companies...
what we could do, bro, to eliminate this, we could, like, I don't know, have these greedy ass owners actually, you know, stop taking 99.9% of them cut for themselves, like Lester from GTA, bro, and actually pay their employees, bro. Like, dead ass, yo. These dudes are genuine, like, bro, because, like, bro, you know how Lester and GTA, bro, always be taking, like, 80% of the cut, bro, and then you're left with, hell, like, not shit, bro, at the end, and Lester ain't even do nothing, bro, and you did all the work, bro, and you're still not getting paid at all. It's some bullshit, bro, like, dead ass, like...
are selling their systems and software
company
overseas,
managers,
and now locals in these
stuff,
companies
bro.
are furious.
That's why, like, I never want to have an actual job. I ain't never had an actual job before like that, bro. Dead ass, like, I'm gonna take the show away, bro. Y'all support, bro, dead ass, because, like, bro, this YouTuber shit is going all the fucking way, bro, trust me.
Because they see it for what it is, which is a scam. But Americans have become so conditioned by the system that most of us don't even see it anymore. We've just come to accept it, pay it, and move on. And whenever you think that your tip is actually going to the worker who's providing you the service, I don't play about money and I don't play about money and weed, bro. I'm not gonna lie. So, like, if you ask me to give you some money, you better have a good ass reason for it, bro. Or you better be like my brother. Or you're not getting that money, bro. I'm just gonna be straight up. Yeah, I don't play about my money, bro. If something says, like, I be getting cheaper shit. I'll get, like, cheaper shit of the same shit if it's, you know, if it's cheaper, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck about. I don't care what people think about me. I don't care. Like, you could think I'm, like I said, you can think I'm cheap. Call me broke. Call me anything you want. I'm not tipping a fucking iPad, but I never have and I never will. Like, I have my friends who have it. I've seen them do it. Like, they'll like pay before me and stuff, and they paid like $20 and they paid like an extra 10 in tips, bro. I gladly click the no tip every single time. I don't care. Like, it's not my priority. It's not my job to make sure you get paid, bro. It's my job to make sure I get my food and I eat. You feel me? Like, I'm broke anyways. Like, I've been saying, yo. Theft tip is one of the most common labor violations in the service industry. It happens all the time across every type of business, from local small spots to massive corporations, and workers have almost no way to fight it because the system is designed in that way. When you tip in cash, the worker sees it, they can count it, they know what they got. But when you tip digitally through the iPad, it goes through an app or a payment terminal where the money enters a black box. From there, it gets processed, pooled, redistributed, and by the time it actually reaches the worker, there's no way to verify if they got the full amount that you paid them. The businesses and payment processor softwares know this, and they specifically take advantage of it. Some restaurants pool all their tips, and then management decides how to distribute them.
But
sometimes they take a cut
illegal,
for themselves, bro? Even though that's illegal. Sometimes they use tips to cover their
illegal?
operating costs or to pay for broken dishes or shortages in the register, which is also illegal. And sometimes they even just skim off the top and hope that nobody notices. And they keep getting away with this time and time again because either workers don't notice it, or if they do notice it, there's really no way they can prove it. They have no access to the system, no way to audit the numbers. You just have to take their word for it. And this is standard practice now, where businesses steal tips because they can, because the system allows for it, and workers have no power to stop it. And if they ever do get caught, they just pay a fine that's a fraction of what they stole and move on. And since my friend who works in the restaurant industry has told me a lot of these things, I have solely tried to only tip with cash when possible, because that is absolutely bullshit. And the real solution is very simple. Pay the workers a fair wage and just remove the tip to minimum entirely.
It's genuinely not that, bro. These owners and fucking managers and shit like that, bro, they probably wouldn't even notice because they're getting paid a fuck ton because they're stealing all their employees' money and shit. They're already getting paid a fuck ton of money. And on top of that, they already own the business, bro. So, like, bro, What is you paying them their actual full amount
paying their
gonna do? But you're
employees
probably not
instead of
even gonna notice
outsourcing
it.
that to their customers. States that have already done this prove that it works. The restaurants didn't collapse, the workers actually made more money, and customers began tipping for good service, but workers weren't dependent on it. And at the end of the day, the only way that this continues to work is if you actually play along. And I'm not saying to stop tipping entirely at all, especially restaurants or really anywhere else that service workers actually need your tips to survive. I'm talking about stopping accepting these tip prompts as legitimate and feeling guilty for not tipping when no service was provided. The main thing is just to stop letting these businesses take advantage of you emotionally and feel bad for not tipping. Tipping should be optional. Not optional if you're an asshole if you don't, and also not optional but your food will get cold if you don't tip up
That
front.
shit
It should be
doesn't even
optional as
work.
in workers are paid fairly regardless of whatever you tip, and you can leave extra money for an exceptional service if you want to. But right now tipping is mandatory in everything, and it's just a hidden charge that businesses have convinced us to pay willingly. But please, if you're at a sit-down restaurant or a bar or someone who's providing you genuine service, please do tip them. But stop rewarding the businesses who have self-checkout kiosks asking for a tip, or even asking for a tip for you to pay before the service has even been completed.
I never
We're
even
all
heard of
fed
that
up
shit,
with
bro.
it,
Could
but
you
people
imagine
still
asking
do
for a
it out
tip
of
before you
guilt.
even
And at
pay
the end
me?
of the day, clicking that
Before you even
20%
give me
isn't
my
actually
shit?
helping
That's,
the
that
workers.
makes,
But let me
bro,
know what
that's
you
like me paying my barber and giving my barber a tip before he cuts my hair, bro. And like, what if he fucks it up?
Have you ever worked a service job where you've asked customers to tip? Ever since I talked to my childhood best friend, I just couldn't get the thought of this topic out of my head. And you know, really, it's always better at the end of the day just to hand someone some cash rather than just clicking that percentage sign at the end of the transaction, because you know that they'll actually get that money. And if you like this style of content, feel free to check out.
That was the W vid. Make sure y'all check him out. I'll leave his channel, his link and shit down below. I'll leave the link to this vid down below if y'all want to check him out. Bro, let me know about what y'all think about tipping culture, but I think it's low-key stupid, bro. Like, y'all can tip if you want to, but like, I personally don't tip them iPads and like self-checkouts and shit, because like I'm doing all the work basically, bro. Like, all you're doing is flipping the iPad around, but I could do that shit. But make sure, like I said, check him out. Check me out on TikTok. I post other types of content over there. But other than that, make sure y'all remember hard work pays off, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.